All right, Steve and Juna, thanks for being here, and we're excited to be working with you all in this important search. And it's great to have you both in San Francisco at the San Francisco School together. And let me allow yourselves to introduce each other. And Juna, let's start with you.
Hi, I'm Juna McDade. I'm the incoming head of the San Francisco School. I'm very excited for this opportunity. So my background, I grew up in New England and discovered in college that I wanted to be a teacher and never looked back. And so I started out teaching in public education and then moved to independent schools shortly after. And since then, I've taught in high schools, I've taught in middle schools, both English. And then I started in administration, became an English department chair, dean of faculty, middle school division head, and I'm currently the assistant head of school at a school in Northern Virginia. My family and I are very excited to be moving back to the Bay Area. This will be our second time moving here, and just ecstatic to be joining the San Francisco School and continuing on the legacy that Steve Morris has built here, which has been incredible.
And it's going to be an amazing start, and indeed a building off of a fantastic legacy. I know they'll start on July 1, 2023. Steve, tell us a little bit about yourself and your background.
Hi, yep, as Juna said, Steve Morris. This is my 19th year at the San Francisco School. I spent 4 years as the middle school head, so it's my 15th year as the head of school, and it's been a fun run. And I'm so excited about this transition with Juna. What a treat to have Juna here. Actually, right now, even for this meeting, it's a very well thought out and strategic transition. We've got plenty of time in this coming year to get ready for July 1, 2023. And this activity right now is even part of that transition, figuring out how we hire most effectively the next DFO.
Indeed, and we will be talking a little bit later in this video about what you're hoping for in that director of finance and what's coming up in the future. But I just want to spend a few minutes maybe talking with you both and letting you all talk to each other about this transition. I think it's a really unique one. I had a chance to meet you both at the POCC, and I can just tell this is, I mean, if there's ever an example of a smooth and graceful and just exciting transition from one great leader to the next, this would be it. So maybe just talk a little bit about sort of what the San Francisco School means to each of you, and kind of where it has been, and what's happening right now as the school prepares for a chief executive handoff, and all the great sort of initiatives and ideas that are in motion both now and coming soon.
I'm extremely grateful at this point because Steve and the administrative team have been very thoughtful. They've been taking great care with making sure that I've been included as much as possible in terms of thinking through some of the decisions that will be affecting SFS next year. And so I don't know if you want to talk a little bit more about how you all have been thinking about that transition, especially when it comes to hiring.
Right. Well, I mean, I think in some ways, this is when things are going well at a school, this is a classic independent school transition, in that I announced last spring that this year was going to be my final year, and the board started the head search immediately, and we were fortunate enough to find Juna and offer the position in October. So in other industries, it's always odd. They're like, what? This transition's lasting so long, but what a gift that we have here to transition for this long. And when I remember when I first talked to Juna about the transition, I said, let's make this a transition that like best practices books are written about. Let's just do this in the right way. So similarly, and simultaneously, the transition of a DFO can really be and seem on paper jarring to a school where a head of school is transitioning, a DFO is transitioning at the same time. But that is equally as a good time for that position to be transitioning with our current CFO. So it's a calculated process right now that we're doing this together,
Mhm.
and our eyes are wide open at how to do this most effectively.
Mhm. And I've been really impressed with the thinking that's gone into this whole process. And I'm actually looking very much forward to continuing with this transition through the summer and into next year as well.
That's excellent. And let's, you mentioned eyes wide open, and let's, both of you could maybe give somebody out there who doesn't know the school, be the eyes and ears for somebody out there, and talk a little bit about what the school is about. Sort of, coming out of COVID, all the sort of excitement for where the school is headed. I know there was a recent campaign that was extremely successful. There's been some great construction on new projects, both physical and programmatic, and just sort of all just paint a little picture of what's happening and what's for you, Juna, what's drawing you to the school, and Steve, what's kept you there so long, and why this is such a great place to work.
Well, so the school is I think going on 56 years now. The school has been here, and in San Francisco, that's a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I know coming from back east, there are schools that are 100+ years, but we are one of the oldest co-ed day schools here in the city of San Francisco. And I think what I've been saying to people, a big part of me deciding to leave now, it would have been really hard for me to leave if the school wasn't in a good position. The decision was really about leave when things are great, leave when things are as good as they could possibly be. And in fact, frankly, I'll still be a parent here at the school. I've got a younger child who will still be here. So I'm deeply invested in the continued success of this of the school. And so it's a good time to be looking at the San Francisco school. As you mentioned, Gabe, we're just at the tail end of a 5-year strategic plan that even during COVID was able to make great progress. It included some renovation of spaces here around campus. We were one of the few schools in the city probably still doing some modest construction and renovation during COVID. And dare I say, we kind of thrived during the COVID period. I don't want to be misleading. It was really, really hard, but the school kept moving forward during that time, so that when we popped out of this pandemic period, we're still heading forward. So I think the tagline or the headline for me is it's a great time to be looking at the San Francisco school and to coming in to be a part of this community.
Yeah, and I could not be more thrilled about that as the incoming head, and to know that the school is on such solid ground. My first impressions of the school, I really like the way that SFS couched the strategic planning process, because there were 3 buckets that they made sure to focus on, which was people, place, and program. And in each of those categories, I'll start with the people, because you walk onto campus and you can just feel the warmth, you can feel the passion, you can feel the compassion that everyone on this campus has. And it was very welcoming. And yet there was such a focus on purpose. The purpose to make sure that the students were getting the best education possible and were being taken care of on a social, emotional level as well. And so, in terms of the people, that was my impression there. The other thing about SFS that really drew me in was the notion of a humanitarian promise, that this school is so committed to ensuring that our students are not only being educated about what it means to be a humanitarian, but then also being put into situations to practice it themselves, to get out into the community, to make sure that they're thinking about others. And I think that that's what sets SFS apart from a lot of other schools, is that it clearly knows who it is, who it wants to be, and what our jobs are as employees and honestly caretakers of this school.
And I guess let's tie all this to your finance and operations leader, who has to be thinking about people, place, and program, and how to live out the humanitarian promise, and to provide the resources and to ensure those resources are there, and to think operationally to get through tough moments, whether it's COVID or anything else. And so, talk about both the role that this position has played. Maybe Steve, you can give a little window into that. And on the flip side, I sense that you want to give this position a humanitarian promise of making it sustainable and achievable, and what you've done to define the role in such a way that is going to ensure that an amazing leader does stay for a long time and sets down roots into a position that is so essential for a school like yours.
Well, to pick up off of where Juna left, this idea of place, and a lot of time has been put in recent years, in particular the CFO has worked really tirelessly to get the place, the physical, the facilities in the right place, so that I don't see much need in the near future to do any sort of building projects. Right now, it's taken care of and making sure we're staying ahead of any deferred maintenance issues. We just did a big facility study, trying to model out for the future and budget accordingly to take care of the facilities. On the finance side of things, part of the strategic plan was about, we did a big, as you mentioned, Gabe, a big campaign where we were able to grow our endowment from about $2.5 million to a total of $7 million, which was above and beyond what we thought we could do. Again, that was during COVID, started a little bit before COVID and went throughout COVID, so that there is that money that will be annually invested back into the operating budget through the endowment. So for a small school like ours of 270 plus students, to have an endowment of $7 million, it's something that we're really, really proud of, and is ideally setting the next head of Juna as well as the next DFO up for success.
In terms of the role moving forward, I'm really looking forward to partnering with this person, because we all know that in order to deliver the kinds of programs, to hire the kind of staff that we want, leading our students through their educational journey, somebody who is really focused on ensuring that the finances are there and solid, so that we can then deliver the kind of program that we want to deliver. And all of that, has to be taken care of on the back end by the DFO, the head of school, by the administrators, and really looking forward to a thought partner, somebody who's not only going to think about the dollars, but to also think about the people and how those dollars are going to be affecting the families, the students, the employees, everyone who's a part of the school.
And everyone really is a part of this school, and maybe you both can just sort of provide a little window. And I should maybe out myself. I'm a graduate of the school, so I know it quite well, and I've observed it for many a decade. And it truly is a place where all voices are heard. And talk about what that means, whether it's in the boardroom, whether it's in the admin room, or in the music room if you're meeting as a collective group, in terms of decision making and sort of how you all just sort of culturally function and wrestle with tough decisions and ensure voices are heard. I think it's an important element of the school for anybody who's in a finance and operations leadership role to understand what it means to ensure voices are heard and whatnot, even for, say, non-academic type projects. So just a little window into how SFS is makes decisions and ultimately provides that community spirit throughout all aspects of operations.
Well, I like to describe the San Francisco school as a good old-fashioned neighborhood. Kind of that place where, if you can imagine, you give someone the key to your home if you're away, or they'll pick up your paper and put it on your porch or whatever if you're if you're out of town, or take care of your pets, or this or that. And so there is a real sense of community, of investment in the community here at the school. I think, it has been one of the greatest pieces of professional growth that I've felt over the years, is kind of building consensus and getting, a lot of folks' input on decision making. Ultimately, it's always clear that the final decision will come down to the head of school in most every situation, but that's in close collaboration with the rest of the admin team. If there's other staff or faculty members, or even parenting adults who are involved in whatever is being decided. So, the person who is looking to come and be a part of this school, I think in particular, thinking about a DFO role, I think one of the biggest challenges for a DFO is not to be that person with it's nope, no, but there can be a yes and, or a no but. Let's try to figure this out together. You're like, no, we can't do it the way that you're coming and approaching me with that idea or that item, but I'm willing to sit here and work with you to think of how we might go at this another way. I think that's the kind of community and culture we are, giving people voices versus just shutting things down right away, even if they might not work out initially on paper.
And I think that the way that I operate is very similar to the way Steve and the team and SFS has been operating. And so I see a natural progression through the transition into next year and beyond. I'm a very collaborative person. I like to cultivate the leadership in others. And part of that then also brings those leaders pushing back and saying, have you thought about this? How about we do it this way? Could we consider this? And I really appreciate that in the people around me. And it doesn't just have to be other administrators. It could be, classroom teachers, or a staff member, a board member, a parent. And I think that all of those voices are very valuable. And so, looking for a person who not only will share what they're thinking, because they're bringing expertise with them as the DFO, but also somebody who is willing to also listen and take in and be that thought partner. I think I mentioned that earlier, to really be somebody who's going to be able to wrestle with some dilemmas, right? A lot in education are not problems, they're dilemmas, where there might not be one answer that solves everything. There might be numerous paths that we could take. And is this person going to contribute to helping us decide which path to take?
That's excellent. Well, in helping our candidates decide what path to take potentially in terms of pursuing this role, final question for each of you, a little bit different. Steve, I'd love to get a sense of what one of your proudest moments at the school, and also something you're going to sort of miss most about it. And for you, Juna, maybe tell us a little something about your background that maybe candidates wouldn't know, that it's just a little sense as to who you are as a person. And then also one thing you're most excited about, in terms of the future at SFS. So, Steve, we'll start with you.
Well, I guess in the spirit, there are many proud moments, but in the spirit of who this person is, or the role that this person might play, I think when I started at the school, in my contract, initial head of school contract, there was something to the extent of be ready to plunge toilets. And that was, it's kind of sounds silly. And I think that was at a time, all those years ago, where we had a lot of deferred maintenance. We had flooding at the school, because we're at the bottom of the hill. We had a lot of work to do on our facilities, and also I liked that that's the kind of leader I wanted to be. Sure, I'm ready to plunge toilets or ready to jump in, and I think that is the kind of community we have here. But over the years, we've been able to really focus on the facilities of the school in a way that stayed true to the humility and who we are, our kind of humble beginnings as a school, and what people love about the San Francisco school, that it's not overly polished, but at the same time, some state-of-the-art spaces, some very smart spaces and use of space on campus, to the point where I think that point of pride is I believe that we have the best indoor and outdoor campus space of a pre-K to 8 in the city of San Francisco. And it's taken a lot of smart and strategic work and thinking, going back to our point of board members, of staff, of faculty and admin to get to this point where we are right now.
And one thing you're going to miss about it that, maybe just as a parent, you might sneak a little peek or something?
Is actually, and this hit me last week as we were dealing with some really rough weather here in the city of San Francisco. And, but yet our team, I found myself over at the school because I still don't believe that there's not going to be some challenges with flooding or this or that. And I came over and my cell phone was getting blown up by different members of the admin team. Like, has anybody thought about the school? Maybe I can go over there. Or is anybody well, I'm not that far. I can drive over. And I'm getting the chills just thinking about how great the team component of our school is, in particular of this admin team. I'm really going to miss the partnership and the collaboration that we've had as partners and colleagues.
I would say I know each of them personally, and they are outstanding. And you have built an outstanding team. And Juna, it's going to be, I think, a fun group for you to work with. And so, Juna, talking then a little bit, give us a little window into yourself and something maybe the average person might not know, and who is the human behind the leader, and then also what are you most excited about as you think about the next chapter for SFS?
I don't know how Steve knew that. The thing that people don't know about me is that I'm really good at clearing drains.
Oh,
yeah, that's
All right.
I don't know how he knew that.
You should have written that. That should have been. Was it written into your contract? It was.
No, the thing that people might not know about me, I am a product of independent schools myself, and I feel like I was given all this opportunity to. I grew up being a musician. I play the cello, but I was also a tri-sport athlete all through middle school and high school. And, I was able to dabble in a lot of different areas and discover things about myself. I really love scrapbooking, and I discovered that because I was in an independent school where you could join a club on scrapbooking. And who knew that would be a thing that would stay with me. And then the thing that I'm most looking forward to, honestly, it's working with the people. I'm in education because I am a bit of an extrovert and I like hanging out with people and getting to know them and finding out their quirks and their passions. And so far, the people here have been incredible. So I'm just really looking forward to getting to know all the students, the parents, the staff, the board members, and really getting to know them.
And hopefully getting to know a fun and talented director of finance and operations. And we look forward to working with you over the next few months on this search. And I just want to say thank you both for your time and all the best. And again, this is just an amazing moment for the school, and couldn't be in better shape with the leader that it has had and the leader that it's going to have. So again, thank you both.
Thanks,
Thank
Gabe.
you.